Good morning, campers. This morning I'm going to show you a little something I fabricated which you might find useful. When we're in camp, I like to watch YouTube videos if I have internet, and so naturally you would think this would be the best place in the motorhome to sit. However, the cushions in this chair, this dinette, they're not all that thick, and they're not all that comfortable. And after a couple hours, boy, my rear end starts going to sleep. So I tried a couple other places around the motorhome to see if I could find somewhere that was a little more comfortable. Now I tried sitting here, and this couch is much more comfortable than the dinette. But as you can see, the laptop's on a down slope, but at least I can adjust the screen for my convenience. But again, after I sit here for an hour or so, this thing starts to get pretty heavy, and every time you go, well, I guess it's not that difficult to set it aside. I had to get up to refill my drink and back, but by and by it gets pretty weighty on my legs. So what I did was I found that I can put it up here. You kind of got to balance it. It's not a real sturdy place, but once you get it in place, there. Once you get it in place, you don't have to disturb it. I can get my drink and I'm okay. And well, that was okay, except actually it's a little high, and it is a little. I always worry about knocking that thing off. I have a couple of times, but I haven't been able to grab it, so I haven't had any laptop breakage. But let me show you another place I found that I thought was even better. So I noticed that this passenger seat spins around, and it is awful comfortable. It is really nice, except there's no place to put the laptop. I thought about taking a couple plastic pipes and putting them over the arms that's sticking out here, and then making myself a tray. But I measured it. The pipes were going to have to be really gigantic. I think it was going to have to be like 8-inch diameter, 6-inch on the inside. I can't remember. And then I thought about maybe some kind of a tripod with a table on it. And I looked on the internet, and sure enough, there's people sell stuff like that. And but they're kind of pricey. They start about $198, and then we'd have to lug the thing around. And I thought about building something with go to Home Depot and get a pipe, and they have these flanges that screw onto the end of a pipe. It's got 4 bolt holes in it, and it's actually designed for like to go into a tank, but I could screw that into the floor. And but then again, I didn't know if I wanted to punch a hole in the floor of my motorhome or not. And so thinking about this seat got me thinking about the other seat. So it occurred to me that if that seat is comfy as hell, then this seat should be comfy as hell. And plus I got a steering wheel. Maybe I could just balance the laptop on the steering wheel. So I gave it a try. Well, it doesn't want to stay. So I was ready to give it up, and then I remembered this is a tilt wheel. Now when I tilt it, boy, this thing is almost level as a city bus, but not quite. So then I tried it, and it's pretty close, except it kind of wobbles in the middle because this steering wheel's got a high spot in the center. So I tried to figure out what I could do. So I went in my shop and looked around, and I got some scrap wood, and I made myself a frame. This thing looks ugly as hell. It really could be more elegant, but it's not. And all it does is cover the steering wheel. It hangs on here so it doesn't fall. It's got a bar here so the laptop doesn't slide this way. And there we go. It's perfect. And the high center of the steering wheel doesn't seem to bother me anymore. So what this wood is, it's just furring strips. They're 3/4 inch wide by 1.5 inches wide this way. They come in 10-foot long lengths. Well, you can get them in 10 or you can get them in 8 foot. And they're cheap as hell. They're like $2. And it's pine. And so you just, let me show you a little close up. Let me show you the board. So I just cut a couple of boards here, and I got them just wide enough to fit over the steering wheel, see? Now this board has to fit on the steering wheel because you don't want it to fall. Now up here I got another cross piece, and that keeps it from this thing from traveling down towards the driver. Well, towards me, the viewer. Then all this piece right here does, all that does is keep this thing from doing this. So it wouldn't stop, it'd just fall over the wheel. That's all it is. It could probably use a little paint. Actually, it was a little bigger, and I've actually trimmed it down. So now when you build it, now right here, this is this particular laptop did not come with a Bluetooth card, so this is a USB Bluetooth device. You want to make sure you give yourself room. Say, if I push this all the way over, see how much room I got? I still have room for a USB cable to go in here. See? There you go. So see, you need room. You don't want to stress these cables. So that's fine right there. And you also want to give yourself room here for your power supply. And don't stress that too much. See, my first one, it was up there like that. Don't do that. This laptop's not being supported by the steering wheel. It's being supported by this connector, and you'll wear that connector out and break it. Yeah, try to replace that connector. Lots of luck. I don't think it can be done. I think you have to replace the laptop. So anyway, that's the point. See, I could have trimmed this wood so that it would have this much space, but if you do, you're going to have your connections aren't going to fit, so you have to go back and you have to give yourself a little bit of space. Now the first one I built, what I did was I ended up hacking a hole there, but later I learned that that's because, like I said, the first one set up like this, so I hacked a hole, but it never did fit quite right, never did sit quite normal, so just, yeah. So anyway, so that does it. Now I do have one other problem, and that is Winnebago was nice enough to put a 120 power outlet on this side of the coach here in the front. but not down here, not on the driver's side. So that's gonna be another chore. I'm gonna have to put an outlet here. There is an outlet up there for the DVD player. And so I'm running this yellow extension cord. Doesn't this look like hell? See, I got the cord coming all the way over and all the way over to here, and then I got a multiple outlet. I notice after dark, I got my power supply here. It sits right there. But after dark, I can't see the keypad. I put in a light up keypad, and that's great, except there's some keys that aren't lit up. The space bar is not lit up. The buttons here that you use every other keystroke is not lit up. Up here, the volume control and the mute button, that's not lit up either. So anyway, I find that I need a light, so I got me a little light and I just hang it there. I have this light, which runs off of that's just like the interior light in your car. So you just turn that on, and that's LED. The only thing is, it's in front of me, and I wear glasses. So when you wear glasses, you have a funny thing. When light comes down between your glasses and your eye, it's really uncomfortable, and it's kind of glaring. I wore a ball cap a few times, and that works, except I'm not comfortable wearing a ball cap. You ever see a guy in a convertible wearing a ball cap? It's because their visors don't work for shit. And more often than not, when you do see a guy wearing a ball cap, you'll notice he's wearing glasses. And but guys that don't wear glasses, a lot of times they don't need it. They don't need a ball cap. The sun is just not a problem. Okay, so anyway, I'm gonna eventually. I was kind of thinking of maybe putting strip LEDs. See here, I have strip LEDs along the base of this, so when we drive at night, it gives us kind of like a footlight. And I have this on a dimmer. See, I can dim them up or dim them down. I was kind of thinking about maybe doing that here, maybe right along the frame. This is an electric bunk, by the way. So I'll maybe, not up there. Maybe just back here, man. That's all I need. I'll get some and tape them up there and turn it on and see if that's enough. And then maybe I won't need this after all. But eventually I'll put an outlet down here, and then I won't have these wires stringing all over hell. But I don't know. You know, we always modify our RVs to suit us, to make our life simpler and more convenient. And so this idea, I will tell you, we're in the process of remodeling our house, and we've been sleeping in the motorhome now for 45 days. So for 45 days, I'm retired, so all day, well, not all day, but most all day, every day, I sit right here. I got nothing better to do than to look at videos, and I shop our next house, and I look at travel videos and RV videos and whatever video. There's nothing. I don't have anything else to do. I'm just waiting on the remodel to get done, and we're going to sell this house. But my point is, I spend a lot of hours. I would say I spend between 8 and 10 hours a day sitting in this seat, and it is really comfortable. And so if you wanted to do that for just a couple hours a night when you're in camp in an RV park, this would be the place to sit. That's one thing about the RV makers. They did make the front driving seats, they made them real comfortable. In fact, this seat is so comfortable, I fall asleep in this seat every afternoon for 1, 2, or 3 hours, and I always wake up rested, not stiff or anything. So this is really a comfortable chair. Good job, Winnebago. All right, campers, I'm going to show you a laptop trick. The last laptop I had at work, the power port for the power supply port was right next to the Ethernet port, and I was constantly taking the connector right here for the power supply to plug in the laptop, and I'd plug it in the Ethernet port. Well, lo and behold, after I had the laptop a couple of years, one day I needed to use the Ethernet port, and I couldn't get any Ethernet. And I went to our tech support shop, and they couldn't get it to work, and they was going to give me another laptop. And I happened to look in the Ethernet port. It's right here, and if you look in there, you'll see these 8 little tiny gold-plated wires, and I'd bent about 4 of them. 2 of them were touching each other, so I got my needle nose pliers, and I bent them out, and then I tried Ethernet, and it worked. And but I noticed that sometimes it would work, sometimes it wouldn't, sometimes it would start to work, and then it would die in the middle of working, and I'd wiggle the cable. It might help, it might not. Anyway, I got a new laptop, and that was great. But the new laptop, it was exactly like the old laptop, same model, so it had the same problem. So what I did was, I went down to a electronics store, and what this is that Ethernet cable connector. You crimp that under a cable after you route the put your 8 wires in there and crimp it. You make your own cables. Well, here's what you do with that. You take this connector and you punch it. You plug it right into the Ethernet port. And what that does is now, whenever you're trying to put in on this laptop, this is my wife, she's got a USB, I don't know what the hell that thing is, and this is the HDMI. Any of these cables, and you're trying to plug them in, and you're not looking because you can't see the thing when it's laying as it's supposed to be, and you're jabbing in there, you won't dick up that port. So that's so all my laptops, I have a port like that on there. Not a port. I have a plug like that on there, and that protects it so that it won't become damaged. And that's what I did on that replacement laptop I got at work, and I didn't have any trouble after that. And every time I just pop that connector out, plug in my Ethernet cable, and then when I got done, I made sure I put it back in there, and no more trouble after that. All right, just a tip from your Uncle RV. We'll catch you later, campers. So now I got my computer workstation all set up. Let me show you how cool it is. A moment ago I told you that this here was a Bluetooth device. It's true, and what I use it for, what I can use it for, is to transmit my YouTube audio to either the desk unit right here, which comes out in these high quality speakers, or I bought me some wireless headphones, so I can run it through them too, because occasionally Mrs. RV likes to watch the TV right there, or use her laptop at the dinette, and she's always nagging at me that I got the volume too loud. Plus, I got my drink holder right here. I could pull this back in the evening, get a little light, get a little air if I need to. I got a fan right there. It's actually a defroster fan, but I've turned it around. I can turn it on if I get a little hot up here. Got a place over here, you know, I can plug in anything I need for that 12 volt. In this case, I got another fan up here, and when the coach AC comes on, that sucks the air out of an AC vent that's right behind it, and it blows it up here and in the cab, in the driving deck area. Got Kitty's cat box right there. When we're parked, when we travel, we put that back in the bedroom. And that's about it. I got my other armrest right here, so I can rest my arms. I can tilt my chair back if I need to. Pretty nice. Got my lamp up here, and all in all, it's turned out to be a pretty nifty thing. No wonder I'm comfortable for all the hours I spend in here each and every single day. Of course, some days we jump in the truck, the Jeep, and we go to the grocery or go to a restaurant, or went to the eye doctor the other day and got to get some prescriptions tomorrow. But boy, I'm sure can't wait to get this house selling process over with. I don't mind living in the Jeep. I'm just getting real tired of this campground.